So everyone, and welcome to the Seal the Deal DLC review for Hat in Time. Now I've been playing this DLC for 25 hours or something in total, so I think it's about time that I tell you guys if this DLC is good or not. So first of all, before I start the entire review, I'd have to say that the day this DLC came out, if you downloaded the DLC the day it came out, you got it for free permanently. So I didn't have to pay anything. And I think backers also got the DLC for free no matter when they picked it up. So that's pretty good. I don't actually know the exact price tag for if you buy it, but that's something that I have to mention right off the bat, that this was, and it still is, free, completely free for a lot of people. So keep that in mind, because I'm about to say some stuff about this that is pretty good, and some stuff that is not very good about this DLC. But let's begin with right where we are right now, which is Chapter 5. I'm not going to show you too much in case you want to experience it yourself. But Chapter 5 is the Arctic Cruise, where you're on a cruise liner and a bunch of stuff happens. Now, sadly, this chapter isn't very long, which in itself isn't really that bad. I mean, it is DLC, that once again is free for a lot of people, so it's alright that it's not as big as some of the other chapters in this game. And after all, what really matters is the quality of the content, not exactly how much there is, right? I mean, after all, that is exactly why we are playing Hat in Time, a game that doesn't have super much content compared to other games like Ukulele that has, okay, also not that much, but still more, I would say. But all the content that is there is absolutely amazing. So what is it about this chapter? Well, I have to say, the actual ship itself, the actual cruise, I really like this level, the way it looks, the way it feels, the way you can jump around and how everything is connected once you've gotten a good view of everything. I like the attention to detail everywhere. Stuff just looks really nice. There's NPCs everywhere having a chat. There's stuff to look at everywhere around here. Look at some nice strings, some stuff around. It just looks really nice. It just looks really nice, and there's a lot of really nice character to it. There's a lot of character to everything. You can see that this is what we're aiming for in this chapter, and there's a bunch of other stuff in there, like how to ride lore in 5 minutes, and then we have egg, there's some other stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff hidden in this chapter, as you might expect. There's so much attention to detail, and of course,
hi, miss. How can I help you?
the seals.
There's something you want in the lost and found? The captain lets us pick something from it if we work very, very hard. Maybe you could help.
Isn't that the cutest thing?
Ask him nicely. Just follow the mess to his room.
Aren't the seals the cutest thing in this game after Hat Kid? Isn't that something amazing? Oh, I love it. That said, now that I've said all of that, sadly this chapter just didn't actually end up as well as it could have. And actually, I think that Gears of Breakfast might have kind of dropped the ball in some of these areas. Let me do this more thoroughly though. So I've said that this cruise ship, I like how you can run around and how all the different areas are interconnected, and once you've gotten your bearings, it's actually really fun to go around and be like, okay, if I want to go to this and that room from this area, let's see how I can go to this room from that area. For example, let's say I want to go to the engine room. Okay, let's go engine room. To go engine room, the best way to go would be from this side is we go to captain's room, cross over to the other side from captain's room. From there we jump down, make it all the way down here, for which we have an entrance to the engine room. Isn't that nice? Once you've got a good idea, it's really cool to go in your head, oh, where can I go from here? Where can I go from there? How does everything connect? It's fun. The problem is, in order to get to this point, I had to invest hours of running around this ship, not knowing where anything is. The game, sadly, or this level in general, sadly does not do a very good job at teaching you what the stage looks like. You could say that, well, the first 1 or 2 acts, both first and the second act, have you run around the ship a lot. The very first act is pretty much run around the ship and go to all these different areas. So in that sense, you'd be like, oh, doesn't it kind of teach you all the different rooms? Because the first act has you run around everywhere. The problem is, the rooms are very highly interconnected between each other. There's a lot of different ways to go from room A to room B. And you don't really understand exactly how all of these rooms really connect to each other by just running through it once or twice in Act 1. So then you do Act 2, where you're still having to run around the entire ship all over the place. And you have some arrows pointing you what the game thinks the fastest way from room A to point B. So you follow the arrows, and you still don't really understand how everything links up, because you're just following arrows. You're not actually following your own brain on where you're trying to go. So that's kind of sad. The only way to really learn is to just repeatedly do Chapter 2, or the Death Wish for Chapter 2, which we'll get to later. You just repeatedly do that until at some point you just get a better understanding. And right now I could tell you exactly where every single nook and cranny in this entire ship is, but I've put a lot of hours into this. And when you're playing this casually and you go into Act 1 and you go into Act 2, you're gonna be overwhelmed. You get overwhelmed so much that you're just gonna be like, I don't know where anything is, what am I doing, what am I doing? I'm following arrows, I guess, because I can't understand myself where anything is. The sad part about all of this is, this is, by the way, probably the level with the worst gameplay level design in all of Hat in Time, which is really sad, because all the other levels were so good. And I really don't want to say this, because it's, like I said, once you've gotten used to this level, it's so fun to play. I would like to just play Act 2 just for fun. At this point, I want to play Act 2 just for fun, because I've gotten so good at maneuvering this level. I can tell you exactly how everything connects to, but you could have done it way better, and one of the ways is this thing right here. This is something that is placed in multiple rooms, I think in almost every room and every connecting area in this stage. It's a map. There's maps to this. The problem is, the map doesn't really tell you that much. It tells you where you are and where some other rooms are, but you don't really get a good understanding of the ship from just this. First off, you don't know which room is which. I looked at this map just before starting this review, and I was like, okay, I know exactly how everything connects to. Certainly I can look at this map and tell you which room is which, and I messed up 2 of the rooms. I mean, it's not even that simple. I mean, I can tell you right. Okay, this right here is entrance hall, okay? This is entrance hall. The lower one down there, that's engine room, okay? Next to that, we have the laundry. Above that, we have the kitchen. It's not even that easy to see. The one above engine room right here, that's the casino. Above entrance hall, that is the residential area, or the place that has a bunch of rooms. It's hard to see, but there's like a room above there. That's like the residential area. Then above all of that, we have the pool at the very top, which at the side here has the kiddie area, which also has an elevator that leads down into the the dining area. And then in the middle of all of the entire rooms, you have the captain's room. This is all the different rooms. Why? First, there would have been a way, probably, of first off making it more obvious that is a map. Many of you who haven't seen this stage before might not have even seen that there is indeed a map in this room, from the like 5 or 10 minutes that I've been running around this room. Like, I've been running around this room for that long. A lot of you people probably have not even realized that there is indeed a map in this room, and that it's that thing. Because it doesn't really stand out. It kind of blends in, actually. I mean, I can maybe change some graphics settings. Maybe go to higher, but that shouldn't even be a thing. I go to high performance. Now it looks a lot, like it pops out a lot more, but that's high performance. You shouldn't even play on these settings unless you're like a speedrunner. If you go to like quality settings, let's put up the quality, and it just kind of blends into the background. I don't know. So first off, it blends into the background. Secondly, it's at a wall when everything in here, like the lighting and everything that actually like guides your eyes, there's also been some ponds around, that guides your eyes, of course, towards the happy little seals. How can I help you? You're guided towards the seals. You don't even look, you have to turn around 180 to realize that there's even a map which blends into the background. And then it's not even labeled, so you don't know where anything is. You have to go out of your way to find the map in all of these different rooms after you've realized that there is indeed a map in most of these rooms. And then the map doesn't even help you that much. That's such a big missed opportunity, because the map was the one thing that could have made it so much nicer for people to understand where stuff is. But not only do you do a lot of people miss it, but also it's not even labeled. Like, even if you don't miss it, it's not even labeled, and you don't know the connections. You can't even look at the connections between the rooms that well. I mean, there's also like the left side and the right side outer area. You can like kind of see that, like on the left and right side there's an outer area. It's not even that obvious where stuff connects. And when you gotta try and get closer, it disappears because of the it's not quite depth of field, but you know, some stuff. I've run it on this for like way too long now, but you could have introduced the player a lot better to the entire area. Also, here's an idea. There's only like 3 acts for this. Why is there only 3 acts for this? Well, like I said, there's not that much content to this, which is alright. But you have this really big ship. This is actually a really big ship. If you have this really big ship, maybe there would have been a way of using that area better, other than just there being like, here's 2 acts where you just, in both of these acts, you run around the entire ship from one room to another and collect stuff. That's basically what you do in both of these acts. They might as well be the same. I wonder how much more extra work could have been after building this entire ship for there to be, for example, a chapter. Let's say this is chapter 1, where you start out the same. You are outside the ship, you enter the ship, and then what happens is, maybe it turns out that the octopus or whatever in the engine room, I can actually show you that guy goes a bit haywire and has a little episode. And what happens is, stuff breaks down all over the ship. The entire ship gets partially damaged. And what happens is, all over the ship, because stuff is damaged, stuff falls down, breaks down, different routes are blocked. Doors are blocked, they don't open. And it's you would make it obvious. You would make it very obvious by like burning debris or something, that something is blocked. And what would happen is, you would have like a sort of linear way through the entire ship. Maybe the only way you can go from the entrance hall is down here. So you go down here, you go through all of these different, okay, maybe it wouldn't be that way because the octopus is there, but let's say it would be that way. You come through here, okay, maybe the only way is up here, and then you kind of have to work your way through the ship in a linear fashion. It shows you all the different rooms, and it shows you at least one of the way all of these different rooms connect with each other. Then at least you had have some sort of idea, and then in the next chapter after that, maybe that would be what is now chapter 1, where you get to run around in a free roamy way, and then you get to understand everything. Maybe that would be a way of not actually adding that much more work. I mean, I assume you just add a bunch of burning debris, and apart from the burning debris, everything else would be the same. I don't think it would cause that much more work if you've already built this giant ship to use, you know? Then again, I'm not a developer, so I can't say how much more work it would be. But that would have been such a better way of introducing this. And then so that's one thing. And the second thing is, once what is now chapter 1 starts, where you run around the ship free roamy style, you get introduced to the map. Maybe the first NPC that you talk to tells you, hey, if you have trouble going around, there's this map right here, and then the map is not this tiny little thing. Maybe the map is as big as my entire camera screen is right now. Maybe it goes from all the way to the left, all the way to the right, all the way to the top, all the way to the bottom of my camera is right now. Everything is labeled. Maybe there's a button that you maybe can stand in front of it, press the use button, and it like zooms in on the map, and you get to like look around the different rooms. Of course, that's extra work, but it would have done everything so much nicer if you could have like the zoom in camera that you could like go around. Oh my god, that would have been so nice. And then the NPC also says, oh yeah, these maps are hidden in all of these different rooms. If you ever have problems, just look up the map and you'll be fine. That's maybe something that could have been done, and I think that would have made this chapter a lot better. Without all the stuff that I just mentioned, sadly this chapter is quite underwhelming. Chapter 1 and 2 play almost the same. It's very hard to actually get used to where stuff is. I don't like it, but once you get used to everything, I actually think this is such a fun map to just run around in. Once you get used to everything, this is such a cool map actually. Sad. So that was one part of the seal the deal. Now we get to the deal part. After we've talked to all these men happy with the field. Oh, you're talking to cute happy kid. Isn't that horse so cute? So now that we've done that, let's go to the second part of that, which is Death Wish, which I've put about 25 hours into Death Wish. Most of the time that I think I've played like an hour in the actual chapter, and the rest I spent in Death Wish. Well, I guess I spent like another hour in chapter 5 through this right here, which is the chapter 5 Act 2 Death Wish. Anyway, so I've spent about 25 hours, and this is how far I got. After 25 hours and seeing this one, I was like, I mean, I got to the end of. I got to the fourth boss on like my third or fourth attack. I got there pretty quickly. To the final boss, and then I saw the final boss to this thing, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to play a 10-minute long boss gauntlet to have one shot at a boss that I can't practice otherwise, similar to this here, though I can practice the end. It doesn't matter because this is the only other node that I haven't done, because practice doesn't matter on this node, and I hate that. I hate when you have to go through. Okay, let's start at the beginning before I go into the deeps. So Death Wish basically gives you a lot of these different missions, and on each of these different missions you have a main mission and you have 2 bonus objectives. And for example here, speedrun, well, clear subcombat in 2 minutes, and then you have bonus objectives to clear it even faster. Or here, Rift Collapse, CP Subcon, or Quality Time with Snatcher, survive a more powerful version of Snatcher for up to 6 minutes, and he gets faster and faster each minute. Or find Snatcher coins in Subcon Forest. There's a lot of these different, it could be pretty much anything. And you know, if you've watched my channel before, maybe you've seen She Came From Outer Space in half A press. And then I explained how it's possible in 0 A press. She came from outer space, clear that in certain A presses. In the half A press video, that half A press actually gets counted as 0 A press. So according to the game, the half A press is actually 0 A press. Okay, take that as you will. Anyway, I like that, of course, because you can play through pretty much all. You can do an entire playthrough of the game without pressing the A button, which is pretty interesting. So it's also like a 0 jumps for like any stage, which is pretty cool. All in all, if you are really good at the game, and I mean really good, like speedrunner good, then this Death Wish mode is actually really fun. It's actually really fun to play this mode, but only if you are really, really good. Like, I mean, I had fun for most of it, but there were even some notes where I was like, okay, that's just fucking dumb, man. That's just dumb. Like, why is this there? So this game isn't perfect. This game isn't perfect. Even if you enjoy this like really difficult content, even then there's some stuff in here that's just like, really? Can we be serious? Like, really now? Did this really have to be like this? Especially this node, like, what the fuck? Anyway, but to keep it simple, if you're really good at the game, this game is really fun. If you're not really, really good at the game, you probably won't like this game mode very much. This game mode will probably frustrate you as soon as you go into the very first one. Not because the first one is hard, but just because the first one is a lot harder than everything else you've done in the game. This first one already is on a difficulty level that's already way harder than everything else you've done. And this is the easiest Death Wish. After that, it only gets upwards. And it's the easiest Death Wish by a long shot. After that, it gets like exponentially harder. So you're already on a level that's harder than everything else, and then it gets exponentially harder, just to be giving you a taste of how hard this actually is. I mean, I'm not gonna go into this right now because I'm trying to do the review and not getting myself distracted. But I have other videos on my channel, and they probably are the recommended videos. Somewhere down there, probably somewhere down in the recommended. I think it's down there in the recommended videos, where I beat all of these. Where I do like breaching the contract of all 3 of these bonus objectives at once. Where I do normal bad guys with all bonus objectives at once. Like, you don't have to do them at once. You can do them one after a time. I did all of them at once, and you can kind of see just how ridiculous that actually is. Where you would watch that. I'm watching that back, and I'm like, how did I dodge all of these attacks? The entire screen is full of stuff. Anyway, it's really fun though. I really like that. I can go into this just... I don't remember the strat for this anymore, but I just want to do it because this is fun, man. And I think I have the wrong thing for this. Okay, there you go. I just like playing this. I like the soundtrack. Oh my god, how is the soundtrack for all of these... A lot of these Death Wishes have their own soundtrack, and oh my god, how is the soundtrack for all these Death Wishes? How is it so good? I don't understand how this is so good. Oh my god. is just ridiculous, just how well the soundtrack has been made for this. This is, if you don't like playing Death Wish, at least listen to the soundtrack somewhere on YouTube, because oh my god, I'm so rusty by the way. Just listen to the soundtrack to this, because oh my god, is it good. Oh my god, is the soundtrack for this just so amazing. Okay, enough of that though. So this is basically Death Wish. There's just stuff you've already kind of done before in other stages, but now you have to do it like harder. So it's not like completely new stuff in a lot of these cases. It's like stuff that's similar but different, you know? That's how I would say it. Yeah, that's kind of it for Death Wish. I have some other videos on how I do some really crazy stuff. Death Warp actually is helpful in here. So you can kind of look at those videos, but yeah. To wrap it up with Death Wish, for the most part, I really like Death Wish. Most of these challenges are fair. Most of them are fair. One problem that I always have on a lot of these Death Wishes is just graphically. Whoops. Co-op. I haven't even mentioned co-op. You can play the game co-op now, but I don't really do that. Can I do that like this? Yeah, look at that. Look at that. It's bespoke kit. Can I do the thing? Let me do the thing while I wrap this up. There we go. So, this is a sealed deal. What I want to say about Death Wish Unavailable Co-op. The last two notes that I haven't done is they're both like 10-minute long boss rushes, and the only difficult part for all of them, like once you've gotten good at the Death Wish, once you've gotten good at everything, the only difficult part is at the end of a 10-minute long boss rush. I personally don't enjoy playing easy content for 10 minutes to get one shot at something hard that you can't really practice for. In one case, you have the boss rush where the end is random. You can't really practice for randomness unless you do speedrun strats. I haven't been a speedrunner for this game for almost a year, so I can't do speedrun strats for Mustache Girl, which is required pretty much. Like, I think that that boss rush, don't miss a chance to hit, I think is by far the dumbest of them all, because basically it's, do you know speedrun strats for Mustache Girl on how to hit her repeatedly? Congratulations, you can do this. Do you not, have you not played the speedrun strats for Mustache Girl? And do you not know the speed strats for Mustache Girl? I'm sorry, you're gonna have to invest at least 3 hours into learning exactly that. I didn't even, I used like maximum 1 hour for each Death Wish. Each Death Wish with all 3 bonus objectives took me maximum 1 hour. That bonus objective alone for don't get hit, don't miss a chance to hit for the boss rush, 3 hours. Because it's a 15-minute long boss rush for a random chance at the very end that you have to get lucky, and that you pretty much require to use speedrun strats that I don't know because I'm not a speedrunner anymore. Oh my god. Holy shit, that's actually so... I'm trying not to swear everything off and keep this video PG, but oh my god, holy everything is that terrible game design. I'm sorry. This is one of my favorite platformers, maybe of all time even, maybe even of all time, but that bonus objective in itself is such horrible game design, I can't even understand it. I mean, I know it's trying to be really hard, but like I said, all the other bonus objectives, other nodes like missions with all 3 bonus objectives took me an hour at most, because you can just, if you fail something, you press the restart button, go in again. It's like a Super Meat Boy. The stages aren't very long. There are a few longer ones, but it's okay because you can get better. You can get better. But that one, 15 minutes of easy content for the only thing that's hard, and if you're not a speedrunner, you're gonna have to invest multiple hours. It's just, I can't even begin to describe how terrible that game design is. Anyway, the other boss rush with the hyper bosses, I don't even mind the hyper boss rush that much. At that point, I was just too frustrated from the regular boss rush that I just couldn't bother doing the hyper boss rush anymore. Because in the hyper boss rush, once you've gotten really good at the bosses, 3 of the bosses are pretty easy. Like, I can get to the final boss of the hyper boss rush pretty much every single time almost every time now. I've gotten that good at it. But the final boss is just, it's a bit harder than the rest. And honestly, I can probably do it in like 10 to 20 more attempts, so it's not even that much more. It's literally like 1.5 to 2 hours maybe at most. for all 3 bonus objectives, but I can't even be bothered at this point anymore because I've gotten so frustrated from that one bonus objective. Just one bonus objective. How is one bonus objective that's not even a final node of everything, that's just in the middle of somewhere, like 3 times as hard as the supposedly hardest node in the entire thing? I'm getting way too angry right now. I'm actually getting way too angry right now. To put everything to a close. Bye bye, Baugal. To put everything to a close. I actually really like the DLC as a whole. I like the DLC, but only because A, I've gotten good at Chapter 5, like I know the entire cruise by heart now, and B, I'm good enough to enjoy Death Wish, and C, I got it for free. If any 2 of those weren't true, I probably wouldn't really enjoy this DLC at all. Like, at all. This is a very specific DLC, made for specific people, and I guess you get it for free in a lot of cases. So even if you're not one of those specific people, I guess you got it for free if you were either a backer or you got it on the first day. So that is pretty much all I have to say about this DLC. Sorry that I rambled for such a long time, but this is the thing. I ramble a lot and I get really passionate only when I care about something. I don't ramble very long if I don't care about stuff. If there's like a terrible game that I don't care about, then I'm just gonna be like, this is just a bad game because if this went wrong, this and that went wrong, whatever, let's move on. But whenever there's a game that I love as much as I love Hat in Time, I get so passionate that when I see something that is maybe not the way it should be at all, I just get really, really passionate about it, and I want to share that passion with everyone else. So that is basically all I want to say. And I hope someday I get to make something as amazing as this. Even though that probably will never happen, I still hope maybe someday I will be able to have some creative input on something as amazing as this. Who knows? Maybe I just need to start my own gaming studio. If I had like a bunch of $10,000 more dollars and like actual people who weren't already working on something who would be interested in something like this. Because man, I want to create something. I want to create something so bad. So bad. But it's so hard as well. And I'm still working on my bachelor's, and I have a job already, and it's like, whatever. Anyway, this is some other stuff. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If there's anything you want to talk about, leave me a comment. Don't write me a direct message on YouTube, because YouTube doesn't tell me when I get direct messages, and I don't check them. So if you send me a direct message, it's probably gonna sit in my inbox for like 5 months. Anyway, that was it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. See you guys next time. Shoutouts to